So a little late to the game. Um, no pun intended. A little late. Let's watch the developer direct from Xbox. I think I missed it, and I haven't seen it. I've seen a little bit because there's a lot of conversation online, but I haven't seen it literally. So let's get into it. Let's see how it goes. A lot of logos. Wait, why is the audio not working? Is this not working? Oh, my headset was off. Okay, let's see if this works now. Perfect. Hopefully the audio there it's okay. Obsidian. 4 unique games. Oh, they presented 4 games. Okay. So I know Indiana Jones was presented. I know the Obsidian game was presented. Avowed or something like that. What are the other two? Oh, Senua's Saga, of course. If I remember correctly, finally they announced the date, the release date. What's the fourth game? Indiana Jones, Avowed, and then Senua's. Then the fourth game, I don't. Okay, let's watch. Coming to Xbox. Todd Howard. Why is Todd Howard he? Oh, he produced Indiana Jones, right? Something like that. Hey. Oh, this marker thing is killing me. Ah, no. I can't. I'm sorry. I can explain later what's my problem with that sound. Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay, let me just lower my volume. Pillars of Eternity. I have to play Pillars of Eternity. I do want to play it. I haven't played either one. And I've been told they are really good games. So, especially the second one, I think. I gotta play them.
Welcome to Obsidian Entertainment.
Okay.
I'm so proud to share with you our upcoming fantasy action RPG, Avowed. Avowed is an adventure into the heart of the living lands.
That looks good. I'm wondering if they're, because I remember Outer Worlds was done in Unreal Engine. Wondering if this one it's also in Unreal.
Frontier at the edge of the known world.
Might be.
Where you must put a stop to a mysterious spiritual
I
plague
think it is.
and discover a secret.
It might be, but I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm really good at identifying that it's Unreal Engine. I think there's something in their anti-alias, I think. I don't know what it is, but somehow I can tell.
At the heart of the living lands. At Obsidian, we love creating worlds with deep themes, dynamic gameplay, and thoughtful reactivity.
Outer Worlds.
And Avowed is no different. We set out to blend the believable and fantastical to give players a world and experience like no other.
Looks
it's
good.
Colorful, it's vibrant, it's strange. It's one of the most incredible settings in the world of Aora. There's going to be a lot of great secrets to discover, one of which has a really personal connection to you as the player character.
Okay.
And you're going to have a great time getting to know those secrets and leaving your mark on the world.
Awesome.
And when it comes to encounters, our combat brings the best of the moment-to-moment fun that comes with action-oriented gameplay and the depth and breadth of choice that you get with an RPG. Here to talk more.
Yeah, the breadth of choice. I mean, that's one thing that I think Obsidian does very well that not many games do very well. And I always get worried when I hear like, oh, you have so many options and you have so many options and there are so many options. But in reality, when you play the game, you don't have that many options. You just have, many, maybe a lot of options for your, your build, your armor, or the weapons that you use, but not necessarily many options in the, I want to say, the story, the dialogues, and how you actually progress in the story or the game. There are no many options. One example that comes to mind is, it's actually, I got a message. It's actually Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I was told like, oh, so many options and you can, different things that you can respond to or whatever. But when I played it, which, I mean, it's a great game. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. It's an amazing game. I really liked it after the patching and all that. I have to play the expansion still, but I did like it a lot. But one thing that I didn't like it was that you don't really have many options to progress in the story, depending on what you respond. Sometimes you just get one option as a response, where I was like, why do you even give me the option to pick one response? Just say it. Why do I have to, why do you prompt me to pick a response and just give you one option? Just go with it. Just continue talking. So that was one. I'm not gonna say disappointment, because I don't care that much, but I do see how many RPGs are, sold on the idea of, oh, so many options, and you really don't get that many options. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna say that, like, Outer Worlds, for example, I played it. It did have options, but it wasn't like huge. But it was cool. Now the whole thing of your build, I do like that from that game. Nothing like Baldur's Gate 3, I guess. And now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking about Baldur's Gate 3 and how you can change the story and your progression depending on one single response to a character's dialogue or whatever interaction. So that's complete, and I can see how every RPG that comes out saying this kind of things, like, you have so many options and different ways your story can develop. Everyone is going, and now everyone who played Baldur's Gate 3, who, it's probably a lot of people, everyone who played Baldur's Gate 3, and maybe not even played, like, I haven't played the game and I know this, have a new standard of what that means. And they're going to make the comparison, whether it's fair or unfair. I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's probably going to happen.
About Avowed's combat is Gabriel Paramo, gameplay director.
Here at Obsidian, our team's overarching goal is to empower you with choice. So we developed a flexible combat system that allows you to quickly swap from spellcasting and sharpshooting to melee combat. We want to give you the freedom to mix and match your loadout to fit the way you want to play moment to moment, uninterrupted.
I like the water.
For all battles, you can combine a variety of weapons, attacks, and
a gun? Isn't this like a fantasy thing? That gun was out of place for me, at least.
Abilities for tactical advantages against a wide range of enemy types.
I mean, that's fine. I wasn't expecting it.
It's not just hacking and slashing. You're making real-time decisions about when to use your abilities, powerful melee attacks, blocks, parries, and special attacks.
I like that different skills and different ways you can use the combat. It's not how can I say this? There's so many games that you have many options and they are not necessarily, like, they don't make a difference. It's just a preference of how you want to play. right? If you want to play melee or if you want to play with magic, and that's fine. But I also like that in this game. Apparently, what I'm interpreting with what he's saying is that for some enemies, you're gonna have to use melee attacks. For some enemies, you're gonna have to use magic attacks, or at least it's better as a strategy to use them because, you know, weaknesses on the enemies, or, you know, maybe the enemy's weak to electricity and you have electricity in your magic instead of your melee attacks and that sort of stuff. I like that. I like that a lot.
If you choose to approach combat with a one-handed wand, it feels quick and snappy when dealing damage to enemies at mid-range. Using the Tanglefoot ability, you can stop enemies in their tracks, giving you the opportunity to focus on weaker or tougher combatants.
I think that what I just said is not what's going to happen here, but it's fine.
In an intentional and controlled manner. It's important to pay attention to the types of enemies you're dealing with. Some units are extremely defensive, some are brutishly difficult, and others you must make sure you prioritize for their healing capability.
Well, difficult, why? Because they take a lot of, you know, health, or because they're actually difficult? Because you know, I worry about the type of difficulty. Is it a dumb difficulty that you have to, you know, hit the boss or the enemy a gazillion times in order to kill it? And he will, you know, kill you one shot or two? Or is it difficult because you have to really learn the patterns, you have to, you know, find the openings, you have to actually observe and analyze the patterns of attack and that sort of stuff? For me, those are two very different kinds of difficulty that not all games do very well. For example, comes to mind Hollow, of course, the Souls games, right? It's a cliche to mention the Souls games in that world or reign of difficulty, where it's not necessarily only right. It's not necessarily only that you have to hit the enemy a gazillion times and the enemy can kill you in one shot, but you actually have to study the enemy and you learn through dying. Another game that comes to mind is Hollow Knight. I'm currently playing Hollow Knight, and it's super good at that. Good at, and it's actually more balanced, if you ask me, because you don't have a health bar. You have like health points, if you will, or I don't know how to call them, like health. Let's say, yeah, points. So I currently have like 7 points of health in Hollow Knight. So an enemy literally has to hit me 7 times in order to kill me. Now, sometimes an enemy will take 2 points, but that's as far as I've gotten in the game. So it's actually a little bit more balanced, but it's literally, you have to die a few times to kind of study and learn all of the attacks that the enemy has, and analyze it and think, okay, how am I going to block or avoid this shot, and where are the openings, how am I going to attack, what am I going to do when the enemy does this, when I'm going to do when it does that. And it's so good, and not all games do that very well. Most games just do difficulty by just making them a sponge, a bullet sponge, or, you know, or if it's not a shooter, a sword sponge, if you will. Whatever, you know what I mean.
Capabilities will put you in a tough spot. To help with the different encounters you will face, we provide
Looks
customizable loadouts that can be quickly switched during
the gun. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's off-putting for me.
combat. That means you can play however you want.
Cool.
Equip a sword and shield and charge into battle.
So it's the preference of the
Dual-wield
player, not
pistols and
necessarily
control the
that
encounter
you
mid-range. Or even dual-wield wands
gotta use
to
different
feel
things.
like a gunslinging mage. You could use your enchanted wand to freeze enemies, and then use your offhand weapon's power attack to shatter them. We've worked hard to...
I do prefer the whole Metroidvania kind of concept, or I don't know, Mega Man kind of concept, that you have different weapons and different styles of fighting, but certain bosses have different ways to kill them, and you have to use a specific weapon or skill to actually kill that the boss. I'm thinking about Mega Man, for example, because in Mega Man games, I do remember that I played Mega Man 11, and there's an order in which you preferably want to beat the bosses, or go through the levels, because I don't remember the bosses, but you gotta fight first the boss that gives you the fire or the water weapon. And this is not the order. I'm just swinging this. I'm just improvising here. But you get the water weapon before you go and fight the fire boss, because that water weapon will obliterate the fire boss. So, and then you get the fire weapon from the fire boss, and with that fire, I don't know, you go to the next boss, which is the plastic boss. I don't know, I'm just coming up with it, because fire melts the plastic, and it's easier for you to kill that boss. So I like that, but it's not going to happen here.
Keep you constantly engaged as battles unfold by creating a balance between pressure and manageability during combat.
Players will have ample choices for how to build and progress their envoy in the world of the living lands as they get to know the game and the story and explore the many diverse regions.
Yeah.
Some quests in Avowed will have you make
super
difficult
good.
decisions with profound consequences. Like this side quest you may encounter in Shatterscarp, the third region you'll explore on your journey through the living land.
It's good to see, because all Obsidian games, like, graphics aren't, at least what I've noticed is, like, graphics aren't like something that they are excel at. But this game looks very good.
As you're exploring, you come across the bodies of these fallen soldiers. And as you explore the remains of the battle, it's up to you to determine who, if anyone, is at fault.
Just the four of us. Manu, Kiri.
You see this, like, facial animation and character animation. I remember The Outer Worlds, which is not a very old game, but the facial animation and the characters, they didn't look very good. They weren't that great. They were like a little bit. They look like old. If you look at that, it looks like an older game. Similar to what happens with Starfield. But yeah, look at how good this.
Naoki and me.
And much
Training
better,
Captain
this
Luke.
character animation, model,
to
and
keep
textures and
everyone safe.
everything.
In other words, you're a gang of vigilantes. Not that I'm one to judge.
Looks so much better.
Take my badge. Take everyone's. Our families deserve to know we fought and died for them.
Making the right choice isn't always what it seems. We embrace moral nuance and gray areas, trusting
Hopefully.
players to make tough decisions in complicated situations.
Okay.
My squad and I rested in the cave by
Yeah,
the river last
characters
night,
look
and as
much
we were
better.
sleeping,
The
we were
animation looks a
ambushed
little bit robotic, but they are much better.
by those miserable Zorips. I was so surprised, and it was so dark.
Because those animations are motion capture, I can tell. Those are keyframed.
I just got separated from everyone else. Look, I
Yeah.
can't face those
That's
monsters alone,
keyframed.
but I have to know if anyone else made it out.
I can
Of course,
actually see the keyframes.
Sergeant Asui never has a thought he won't say out loud.
I mean, it's
But what did he
good,
tell
but
you?
it's keyframe.
That Captain Ruiki was sick, that I was paranoid, that I was a dumb baby.
Dumb baby.
I heard it all often and loudly. Wait, if you found Sergeant Asui, why is he not here with you? What happened?
At the end of the quest, you have a choice. When you confront Private Naoki, if you believe the story he's told you, you can hand over the badges and let him go back home.
You're right. Real battle isn't something you can prepare for, is it? It's not my fault. No, they should have never have camped in the cave. I'll take the badges. I'm going back to Third Born.
But if you confront him, if you believe that he fled the site of the battle as an act of cowardice, then he might challenge you to a fight to reclaim his honor. Either way, when you return to town, you'll see the consequences of your actions and the choices you made during this quest.
Yeah, that's cool. I like
Creating
that.
an immersive experience like Avowed
Hopefully it
is
works
anchored
well.
in the world we build. Art director Matt Hansen and the team have worked to create a unique, colorful, and dynamic visual style.
From the outset, we knew that we wanted a Avowed setting.
This guy is good. If this guy was the art director for the Outer Wilds, this guy is good.
To feel rich, weird, and wonderful. We found inspiration in a wide swath of real-world culture.
This is very like Middle Eastern ancient civilizations, like Sumeria, Mesopotamia. How do you say Mesopotamia in English? Mesopotamia? Something like that, right? Yeah.
Cultures, helping us create a unique RPG experience. By contrasting the vibrant...
That looks very nice. I mean, after you play Avatar, I mean, this looks like crap against that game, but still, if you forget a little bit if you forget for a second Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and look at this is super good.
With the dull
Beautiful.
or verdant spaces with sickly ones, we can better deliver complex emotional experiences
good.
for our players.
That water looks very nice.
The Living Lands is a continent of untamed valleys with widely varied biomes, from luxuriant forests to volcanic wastes.
Nice.
And each of those regions itself is a conflux of storied landscapes. All of the regions have a lot of special things associated with them, but I have a deep place in my heart for Shatterscarp. As you're wandering the wastes of Shatterscarp,
that's a really nice texture for that sand.
you might notice off in the distance a vibrant jewel of color. By transitioning from destitute...
I wonder if this is Lumen, Unreal Engine Lumen, or something like that.
...tones of a wasteland of sand and marching in
Oh,
towards
that water
a
looks
beautiful oasis.
amazing.
There's the opportunity
Looks
there
a lot
for
like
life,
God of
for
War's.
adventure, and even a little danger.
You see that reflection there is quite noisy. So is that ray tracing? I wonder. It could be because of how noisy it is.
We hope you've enjoyed this look at Avowed. We're thrilled to share more about the game in the coming months, and we can't wait for you to explore the Living Lands when Avowed launches this fall.
Awesome. This fall. It's not that far away. It's this year. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game, to playing this game. That's a really cool cover. I really like it. Oh, come on. Stop with the Sharpie thing. Fall 2024. Hopefully it doesn't get pushed. Okay, where are we going now? Obsidian is done. Avowed. Fall 2024. What's Oxide? Ninja Theory. Okay, let's go there. We're going to Vikings, Norse world, Ninja House.
Hi, I'm Don Matthews, studio head here at Ninja Theory in Cambridge, UK.
Okay.
We're now in the final months of development on Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and the team is working hard to bring you an unforgettable journey into Senua's unique world and her battle.
Is that a render or is that the actress? Like, is that a picture of the actress or is that a render of the character, the 3D character?
For survival.
Which is the same face. It's fine. It's this, like the Senua's has the actress likeness, but I wonder if this is a real photograph or a render. That's all I'm saying.
Where we have once again combined high fidelity and immersive presentation with a shorter, narrative-led experience that focuses on the things.
That's cool that he actually emphasizes on shorter. Like, it's a shorter experience. I like that he emphasized that, because nowadays we, we expect games to be like long games, like many hours and many hours. So it's good that he is like openly says that this is a shorter game. It's a short game. I like that. And I do like short games, especially if they're like a single player games. I like short games. I like games that I can finish in a week. And when I say in a week, it's like I sit down to play, and I don't play every day. And I probably, when I sit and play, I will play like for 2 hours, 3 hours max. So
that we really care about, and that we hope you care about too.
Okay. That looks good. It just looks good.
Senua is back with a
That's
new
her.
quest. She wants to stop the Vikings who raided her village right at their source, in Iceland. But not just her quest has changed. Senua herself has grown since the first Hellblade. She's made peace with her past and is no longer in such fear of her visions and voices. While the Furies are still her constant companions, she encounters new people along the way, some of which will value
Look at that. Oh my god.
her unique perspective, and others
Look at that facial. I mean, that's Naughty Dog level facial animation.
who will reject it.
Little by little, this settlement became my tribe.
Like, at this point, why make it 3D, right? Like, just go the Remedy way. Like, at this point, why make it like animated or in 3D? If you're just gonna make it look real, just film it. I wonder where graphics are going. Like, whenever we get to this point where realism is completely indistinguishable from 3D or 3D graphics here, and let's be clear, real-time 3D graphics are indistinguishable from reality or pre-render realistic renders. Doesn't make even sense to try to be this realistic, right? I think we're gonna get to a point where we wanna, like music, for example. We got to a point where music sound was so crisp, so clear, so perfect, that then it became the indie example is that they turned back and making music feel less perfect, more noisy, less sharp, less crisp. That was the thing. So I'm guessing that something similar is gonna happen with 3D graphics and games, because look at this frame. I mean, I could tell anyone, hey, look at this picture I took in Norway when I was in this show, and they would be, oh, that's a good picture. Well, this is not a great picture, but you know what I mean. Like, look at this. Like, probably we can tell it's a pre-render. It's an engine thing, because if we scrutinize every little thing very deeply, I mean, we can find the inconsistencies and what doesn't look real. But god damn, look at that. Look at that.
In the game, Senua arrives in tense.
Like, if I show my girlfriend this and I tell her this is a real girl being shot, that I did this video, she will be like, what the fuck? When did you do this? When did you go and film this? I didn't know. She won't even question that this is a game.
On the trail of
Look
the
at this.
Vikings who have been enslaving her people. In the story, we're trying to be as faithful to history.
I like the detail of the animation. Like
Vikings who have been enslaving her people.
when she's going uphill,
Senua arrives in 10th century Iceland on the trail of the Vikings who have been enslaving her people.
her walking animation
In the
is
story,
different.
we're trying to be as
Look at that.
faithful
She kind of leans forward a little bit.
to history
That's
as we
super
can
good.
up to a point, establishing a solid framework and then building more surreal elements on top. Senua will face up to giants who have plunged the land into chaos.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
which in
remember the
turn has seen the
giant.
rise of the Droiga, a violent threat that has swept through the settlements that she'll discover.
Now look at this. Look at how noisy the picture is. You know, that's something that gamers don't like in their games. They will remove the motion blur, they will take out the chromatic aberration and all that. And it's fine, I'm not criticizing that. But all those post-processing effects add imperfection to the picture. And that's what actually makes it look real and cinematic.
Senua will make new enemies and also new allies who will come to see her unique perspective as a beacon of hope. And she'll discover, along with us, how this viewpoint can have its advantages.
Like, look at this. This has a very good anti-aliasing to the point that, you know, it might looks not really sharp in some places, right? It doesn't look really sharp. And that's something that gamers, a lot of gamers don't like, because they hate, for example, TAA, because it makes the image not look very sharp. But when it's not this, when it's not very sharp and perfect, it's when it looks realistic, because a real camera or a real video footage, you know, this video, my I don't know, my edges are not perfect. They're a little bit blurry. Nothing is perfect in real life, and those imperfections is what. Have you ever noticed that when you see in Horizon Zero Dawn, those faces that are with a lot of paint, the tribes that have like paints in their faces look more realistic than the people who don't have anything on their face? It's because of that noise. It's because of that imperfection. That paint, it's imperfect. It has like texture. It's not, you know, it doesn't, it gives their face imperfection, and that makes it look more realistic. Like the dirt here, like she's all dirty and shit. That makes her look more realistic than if she was just clean and perfect. And we tend, animators and game developers and gamers too, we tend to kind of like that perfection, but it really takes away from the realism.
Senua is a Celtic warrior who experiences psychosis, seeing things that other people don't, hearing voices, and having unique beliefs about the world around her.
Yeah.
To bring Senua's perspective of the world to life in a truthful way, we have once again worked closely with Professor Paul Fletcher at the University of Cambridge, as well as people with lived experience of psychosis.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
And the audio in this game is so good, because I think it's using something that it's called oh shit, I forgot the word. It's 3D audio. It's recorded in a way, it's I think now they call it spatial audio. And the microphone is kind of a head with two microphones. So it's recording the same way that we hear, right? Each ear in that head, it's a microphone. So that audio is recorded the same way a human being listens and hears its environment. So what happens with that is that when we hear it, then it sounds as if we are in that place. So it's completely realistic in that sense. I remember how the audio, just Google the barbershop 3D audio, if you will, barbershop 3D audio. or a spatial audio. I don't remember the term. I don't want to spend time looking for that. But look for it and listen to that video. It's an audio, but it doesn't have any picture. But listen to that with headphones, and you're just going to be impressed.
It's terrifying.
I think
Players will find themselves traversing
here.
beautiful and hostile environments, seeking answers from patterns and signs that Senua sees in her own unique way, and battling through encounters with enemies that will push Senua to her limits.
Okay.
On Saga,
That's too
we've taken
real.
everything to
I
the
mean,
next level.
I just same thing. I don't see the purpose of doing animated anymore. If it's
New
just gonna
motion
be
capture
real like
space,
that.
A bigger stage team, a stunt crew, and a new cast.
We spent a lot of time planning the motion capture shoots, thinking of what events would be good to bring into this fight. Like, how can we make this fight feel different from the previous fight? We have all new combat for the sequel.
That's good because
one of our key goals was
I think the combat in the first one was the part that wasn't that great.
to actually tell a story throughout it.
Oh shit.
It does feel very different from the first game, but it's very brutal and you're very invested in it.
Yeah, it feels very. I mean, it looks very
Senua isn't a
visceral.
superhero.
Yeah.
She's fighting for survival, and we want the player to feel her struggle in every step of her journey. We want the player to always feel
Oh
like
shit! That detail of her like looking at her, like checking her neck and in her hand. Wow, I wonder if that's procedural. Like procedural in the sense, of course, the animation is, captured. But if it's procedural in the sense that it happens continuously in the game, or is that just a pre-composed animation to that specific scene?
like they just scraped through, just survived it.
Mel
Yeah, the movement feels very Naughty Dog.
knows Senua better than anyone, better than I do. Her instincts are amazing, and she really doesn't need much help from me.
Yeah.
On stage, our main focus is storytelling. So I get to watch the actors and see all the beautiful expressions on their faces. And then I have to wait a little while, and then I get to see that all again, in-game, in costume, on location, everything. It's a great experience, a great process.
Every
Look at
discipline in the
that.
studio is unified in achievement.
But can you see how the picture is not perfect? It's kind of blurry, and that's why it looks very realistic.
A deep level of immersion to help suspend your disbelief and pull you into Senua's story. We were
Looks
lucky
amazing.
enough to do a few reference gathering trips in Iceland. You have to be there. The sense of scale, everything is incredible. And you see a scene or you see a small section of the game and you're like, yeah, that works, that's amazing.
Senua experiences reality differently, and a part of this manifests in the voices she hears.
Yeah.
These voices come to life through binaural audio.
Binaural audio. That's what I was looking for. Thank
provides a good representation of this type of auditory hallucinations.
Yep.
As we focus in immersion, binaural audio is perfect for this because through headphones, you surround yourself in a three-dimensional space.
Yep.
In the first game, we only applied to the voices that Senua listens in her head. In this game, through a spatial audio technology and some extra little things within the game, there is music that is binaural. Every single sound has the potential to be binaural, so everything is spatialized around you, and it's a very beautiful experience.
That's so good.
What will we do to us?
Yeah, I
Music
do
is a
recommend
strange
you guys
language
to.
in the sense that it speaks to
Sorry,
emotions.
I do recommend you guys to play
fast
this
and
game
deep.
and the first one
It's not
with
only about
headphones.
quality, it's about personality. So when you listen to Hellblade, you know it's Hellblade. On the music, we are working with Heilung, which for me is a
Yeah, that's
personal
a band.
privilege because I really admire them.
Yeah, I know this band. They're super
We
cool.
feel their craft.
They make
their meaning
Nordic
in the
music.
It really connects with our game and elevates it to something really special. We are also working with a heavy metal singer, throat singers, and our very own Furies. They sing so beautiful, and we add that binaural touch of music.
Look the head. Look at the head there. You see, this is the microphone. This is what I was saying. This is a head. So the reason why they have this headphones on the microphone, the head, is because these are this kind of blockers, right? For air. I don't know if that sounded, but yeah, that's just, those are just filters for the air from the actresses or the talent. But you see, this is the head, and then they have, see how they are walking around the head. So when you're playing the game, you feel the voices going around you. That's super good.
They sing so beautiful, and we add that binaural touch of music. So this all creates a very immersive and
that's the binaural microphone. Actually, if you go to Twitch and you see the ASMR section, you're gonna see a lot of these girls with microphones that are like 2 ears, and then they start licking the ears and such. That's a binaural microphone. That's literally the same thing.
A special and unique experience.
Our mission here at Ninja Theory is to craft life-changing art with game-changing tech. And that's our aim in Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, is to not only see where Senua goes next, but to deliver something really meaningful for our players.
My hope is that they will really connect to Senua as a character, and even if they can't really relate to what she's going through, maybe they know someone that relates to that character and they can then understand that person better.
Well, I don't want to sound cheesy, but in a way I'm Senua, right? She exists and doesn't. It exists through all of our work, through every ninja. So we all are Senua, and we are creating this character that grows and grows and grows and grows and keep growing and keep changing. So that makes it real.
Yep.
I'm so proud of the love, care,
Super
and passion
good.
our team here at Ninja Theory are putting into Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Our hope is to not only create a game that is great to play, but to craft an experience that leaves you thinking and feeling. From our combat gameplay through to our action set pieces.
That should be so uncomfortable to kind of, you know, do a whole production wearing that fucking helmet and camera looking at your face.
Solving. Everything is crafted in service of Senua's journey, a journey that you can embark on May 21st.
May 21st. Okay, they finally announced when this game is coming out. May 21st. That is good. And I'm gonna pause here for a sec because I need to go to the restroom. So I'm gonna adopt my YouTuber's accent. Right now I am going to pause and I'm going to the restroom. So please, if you can, give me a second. Awesome.